Yeah. Okay. So we're live, and I used to do these on Monday nights regularly. I think we did like 50 some odd straight for almost a year. And I don't know. Maybe I got burnt out. I don't know. But G Webs is here with me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the invite.
You're the
Good to talk to you
faithful.
again.
Uh, I sent an invite out to Jeff. I sent an invite out to the faithful, the old crew, hoping they would show up. But I don't know. James, like you said earlier, James Yeager's on live right now, and he may be hogging the interweb space. I don't know.
Huh, there's plenty
But
of interwebs. Plus, you
yeah,
can watch us later or him later. And watching it
yeah,
live is a treat, but it's not necessary. But yeah, he's doing a good job over there doing some Q&A with a group of, I think it's just random people that, volunteered to jump in and ask questions. And
oh
pretty
yeah.
interesting.
I'm just playing around. He always does a good job, and he's obviously popular, more popular than me, obviously. But I was responding to your video. You know,
Now, the
it,
flag video, obviously not the one about you're bigger than most gun companies, because how big is your channel now?
mine. Oh, it's only like 34,000.
34,000 is still bigger than Glock. You're twice as big as Glock.
I know, but they don't.
That
The
says a
thing
lot.
about gun companies is they do most of their. I mean, my impression is they do most of their outreach through channels like you and Jaeger,
Oh,
and
they wish. I wish they could pay me. If I was
they're
getting paid by
smart. I
Glock,
mean,
I'd do a lot more
look at
Glock videos.
like Kim at Military Arms Channel and Plinkster and
Well, the
uh,
thing is, they expect people to just chatter about their products if they're good, and that's true. But they also have massive advertising budgets, and that's all I'm getting at is you don't have no massive advertising budget. You just have dedication and commitment to it, and you have fun with it, and that's what people are. And the other reason I wanted to make that video is because that is an indicator of what people are actually interested in. Sure, we like Glocks, but we're not going to go, you know, get entertained by watching a Glock catalog unless you're crazy. Most people want to hear other
like you
people.
who
Yeah, I was
collects
gonna say
them.
like me, but
I would collect them if I knew where to get them.
but you're talking about that first one that I made earlier this morning, where basically in response to only a couple of people who gave me crap on my flag code video about how I think I might be misquoting by now because it's been a while since I read it, but I think they said something like, "This is a flag of tyranny and blah blah blah. How can you be oppressed if you think you're free? You're crazy." And
Oh,
I'm like, I'm not going to address this. I tried to post that video before the 4th. I didn't want to be a nag, but I did want to do something since I do have a soapbox, no matter how big or small you might think it is. I figured I can use my soapbox to let people know that there is a flag code. If they want to pursue it, go for it. Make it
but
as easy as possible, but I'm not going to nag.
you
And
see how
then,
important your pedestal your soapbox is though, because there are
well,
so many people who still think that way or always thought that way. You know?
you mean the tyranny kind of thing? And
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
just
know if those people
ridiculous. It
watch
drives
my
me
channel.
nuts. I mean, I
I mean,
can't.
they see my videos occasionally, but I don't think those. I mean, I'm not making videos for that crowd, so I don't think those type of people, you know, hang on my word or anything. But the thing is that they came in and laid, I'm going to say, crapped on my comments, saying all that crap, and I'm not going to delete them. I didn't want to address them on the 4th of July, though, so I waited till today to address it, and well, it turned into a little bit of a shitstorm. I figured it would, but I honestly felt like if I didn't say something, by letting that crap just sit there, it's like saying to the world, "Yeah, we don't care. We might even agree." And I didn't want that to be the thing because I don't agree. I don't. I think that yeah, we've got a black eyes, and we'll get more in the future, and we haven't done everything perfectly, and we won't do everything perfectly in the future. But this is still an excellent system.
Well, that to me is the sort of there's a quintus there's a culture that permeates the internet that thinks that way, and that is the part of the internet that makes me just want to go out in the woods and burn my computer. I mean, really, seriously, some days I'm going to take my 1911, my old 70 series, and just blow the crap out of my laptop sometimes because I get
And
so tired of that culture on the internet that is so anti-American or anti-flag or anti what is anti-patriotism, whatever it is, anti-whatever. It's like I was saying before when we were off the air. It's wearing me down. You know, and sometimes I just don't even want to fool with. I don't know. If I wasn't if I didn't have this sort of bug in my butt to make videos, sometimes I would just quit. Because they're almost it's almost like they're winning the battle. You know.
I hear you, and I know you're letting off steam because it's not all of the comments, obviously, and we get so much more positive stuff from doing this that it obviously keeps us going. But I understand where you're coming from, that it can get frustrating when, especially like for me, it was one of the frustrating parts about it was I made a video about the flag just to let people know, and then it turned into a politics thing. And it's like, seriously, why do you got to drag it over there? Like, I understand you can do whatever you want, but why do we have to do that? Who feels the need to do that? And it's, I don't know that I don't think they did it for any reason other than that's just, they got a gloomy disposition or something. Everything's got to be gloomy. And anyway, I think that they're not everybody. They're not everybody, that's for sure. That's what I was telling Tony. So I don't know how many people are even watching us, but maybe people watching in the future can drop Tony a line to give him some encouragement. Because I told him that if we go live here and talked about it, I'm not the only one who's going to be willing to keep rooting you on, because there's more to it than the politics stuff for sure. And I think it's important to keep the lines open, even through the bullshit or the crap. Sorry, to so that we have these lines of communication when we need them.
Say bull crap. So.
So that we have those lines open when we need them, though. And,
I like the video playing. Is it Audie Murphy there you're playing in your video, Jeff?
Rifleman.
Huh?
Rifleman.
The Rifleman.
Yeah.
What do you think? I just get discouraged lately. It's almost like, honestly, I almost feel like why I turned to some of my other hobbies lately, like I want to get into beekeeping and just some good old American wholesome stuff, because I get so tired of the crap on YouTube sometimes, the negativity, the anti-American crap. Are you feeling me? Huh?
You get a lot of that. And what do you mean now? What kind of? Give us an example.
An example? What just like what we were talking about with the. Maybe I'm more in tune with millennials, because I have three of them as children, but but it seems like there's a whole generation of people who are what would be a good term? They don't understand the political process. They don't want to understand the political process. They don't understand how lucky they are to live in our country. They're spoiled rotten. They haven't worked for anything they've freaking gotten. Everything's been handed to them like a bunch of damn Democrats, on welfare. And I'm talking about my own kids now. I'm not just talking about anybody. I'm talking about everybody who complains, about how bad America is.
Try to remember how you were at that age.
I promise you, God help me. I promise you, I was not like that. I promise you. It's a whole different generation, and we've talked about this 100 times. We I don't know.
Change over time, I mean, how you feel about politics and life and the future and everything when you're 20 years old is a heck of a lot different when you actually have kids and you know what it takes to actually be self-dependent, or and have to make money, and the more money you make, the more taxes they take, and I mean, but when you don't have any money, you want someone else to pay. It's like, oh, those very, 1%ers need to be paying their share. But I don't want to pay any of mine.
But we honestly, we didn't want to occupy anything when I was a teenager, when I was a hippie. We didn't. We didn't want to go occupy Wall Street. We wanted to occupy the woods in our camping sites, in my 1962 Corvair. That's what I wanted to occupy, with my 8-track cassette, my 8-track tape deck with Boston and Kansas and Pink Floyd.
leftover.
playing. Yeah, yeah. That's what we wanted to occupy. When it's not the same. We didn't have this God hate. I can't wait to get up in the morning so I can hate America. Attitude. You know.
Well, I guess I don't know if the people. Again, it was only 2 people really that gave the most amount of crap to the one video that I replied to, and then that got a whole kind of little shitstorm going. But I don't necessarily know if these people are what age they are. And I guess when I think of them, I think of, I don't know, some crotchety old veteran, because it seems like a lot of times, not a lot of times, sometimes these guys are veterans and they've already had to deal with some ups and downs and disappointments and, dashed illusions of what they were going to be able to do. But anyway, so I don't know if it's always the kids that are the ones that are at least screaming the loudest about this stuff. I agree that they might easily go along with that since they've never had to do much, but I'm more concerned. It's more frustrating for me when it's older people that are the ones giving up, because to me it seems like giving up. Like, hey, even though this system is here to let us, exercise all kinds of opportunity, or we can, like, say, participate and bring people in or out as far as representatives. If you just give up, especially if the older people just give up, that's it's not even.
I think it's because I do more political videos than you guys do, and you guys are. I mean, I'm giving you props because you're smart, and But I
purposely avoid that crap.
I know you go back and look at a lot of my videos, and it's the same. It's the same old stuff over and over. It's like Chinese water torture. We don't pick the president. We don't have any control. We don't, we're.
Your vote doesn't matter.
Your vote doesn't matter. It's the zeitgeist bullshit. It's the same old stuff over and over. My God, just put me out of my misery now. You
got to realize that's just a small fraction of very loud mouth voices. That you get one big mouth dude, and he's gonna make 10 normal people look like he's the majority. Because he just yells louder. Or something like that.
I think we all have. I just think we have different realities of what the current culture is on the internet. It's funny. We all have this sort of.
That's true.
Well, you definitely get a big slice of not only demographics or whatever on the internet, but also like the psychology of people and the intelligence or lack of people, when they start opening their mouths, and it's like, oh geez. But you gotta focus on the good the good ones, and it's sometimes the big mouth people that scream the loudest, it makes it harder to focus on the good people, or the positive side, the bright side.
Well, that's true, and maybe I just need to, I need y'all to come on here once a week and tell me this stuff, because, it's like living on a deserted island. If you're only hearing or seeing, for some reason, if you're exposed to one thing long enough, you start that becomes your reality.
Yep.
And
yeah, and it's the same for those people that are negative all the time. If they just constantly feed themselves with that negative stuff, and they don't take time to take a look around once in a while.
I do think there's a lack of objective thinking, or maybe it's not objective thinkers. Maybe it's just there seems to be a lot of sheep, who or group think. Maybe I should say that. Like nobody. I was just talking to my kids about this the other day. When we were talking about setting standards, how important it is to develop your own personal standards and filter things through them as they come to you. Because if you don't, your reality is going to be shaped by other people's opinions, or input. I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but I don't know. Trying to think of a good example.
That's just part of growing up and learning things, as they present to, or overcoming the challenges as they come to you. And, we all learn from our mistakes and, better than learning from our whatever, they do things right.
Hmm.
What's the deal with your camera? Did you sell it to Dave or what?
I just gave it to him.
What?
I was in one of those. Screw
Who's
YouTube.
Dave?
That Plinkster, 22 Plinkster.
Oh.
I was in one of those moods where I was just like, screw YouTube. The world's a bunch of sheep. It's like, I'm going to quit YouTube. I was in one of those down moments. I was like, here's a young guy. He's got lots of stuff going for him. He's a nice guy. He's a wholesome guy. He's a Tennessee guy. What more could you,
Well, he could have
all the stars aligned, and I just gave it to him.
He could have given you a case of 22 ammo or something.
No, that would be petty.
They deliver that stuff like a pallet.
The way I look at it, if you're not going to ask for full price, don't ask for anything.
You didn't offer nothing?
Offer nothing.
I mean, he didn't.
Oh, he did. He said he had 2 billion rounds of tracers, and I was like, tracers kill. What are you going to do? Shoot fireflies with them?
What's wrong with you, man? I would have given you what you paid for at least, dude.
No.
I always need one.
I don't know.
One of them.
I kept complaining that I couldn't get it to do. All my videos were real grainy.
It ain't no. It isn't no.
Of course, now his look just like mine.
Well, some of them look good.
Except
some of them are, he's got some lighting issues and stuff.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. If you don't understand the lighting issue, then you're never going to.
Yeah. But so it's better than nothing.
No, what's funny is that you can take a very good HD camera, and you can run it through your editor and slow it down a bunch, and almost like, I don't know if you probably don't remember this, but the time we recycled the pumpkins last year with the tannerite, my slow motion video was 10 times better out of my HD video camera than it was out of that stupid, EXF1. Because I ran it through the editor twice and slowed it down 8 or 16 times. Huh?
Might as well just make a slideshow.
Well, that's all the XF1 does. It makes 1 million slides and turns it into a video.
You can't take 30 you can't take 30 slides and make 3,000 of them out of it.
With a good video editor, it's kind of like what's a good term? It creates the intermittent slides. It's almost like quantum photography. It assumes the reality between each photograph. It creates a new reality in between each photograph.
Copy clones the
yeah
30 times.
That's funny. But I don't know. Sometimes you just think if you do something good, it'll the karma will work the way it's supposed to.
That's true.
But I haven't gotten any girlfriends from it or anything.
Buddy Hunter didn't join your chat or what?
Yeah, oh my God. She just kind of she abandoned YouTube, didn't she?
Well, that didn't take very long, huh? I didn't predict that.
Have you ever talked to Bunny Hunter at G-Webs?
I saw her at SHOT Show, but I didn't talk to her. I was seeing
Oh, you
her
saw her?
on Facebook. Yeah,
How
she's a
tall?
lot taller than I thought.
Really? That's what I was. That was my first question. How tall is she? Is she
I
like
think she's about
6?
as tall as Haas. I mean, I saw her walking down the. I was walking down the aisle. She was standing there, so I didn't have anything to compare it with. But I'm saying probably about size height of Haas.
I think after her first few hangouts with us, she realized I wasn't a big star. She just abandoned me. I don't know.
She didn't jump to instant success and it's like, screw this, I'm gonna do something else, you know.
Where's that? Where's that link? G-Web. Okay, I got it.
Did you get that text?
Yeah. Now I'm trying to find the video.
Let's
see.
As if he needed more encouragement, right?
Right. So I'm going through these.
So anyway, so think about like that guy from the recent Target deal where he brings out a firearm in the store, and then there's pictures on Facebook or whatever. How do we know that isn't some sort of anti-plot? Like, how do we know that some of this crap isn't? I mean, these people are certainly getting the results of what the antis would want, the anti-freedom, anti-gun side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wouldn't think any.
But you see what I mean, though? I'm just going to interrupt you. You see what I mean? Look here. Screw F you the flag. Arts and Tony, you are the scum of the earth. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? This is a percentage of America.
But that's like going into a public shitter and thinking that everybody who craps is the same asshole that writes, something vulgar on the wall. That's just people that don't have any respect for anything.
I don't think
if you don't have respect for your own self or your family or your anything, then what do you care if everything's shit?
I know. I just think you need to
and obviously, if you have no ability to accomplish anything, then it's simple to tear stuff down. So now you can have this false sense of accomplishment because you broke something. How hard is it for? I mean, gravity breaks things. Gravity doesn't even have sense. So anything can be broken.
And you just, instead of dwelling on that, you just delete those idiots, block them if you want, move on, man. It's like, hey.
Well, but like I say, that changes their topic. Then you start doing videos about bees and honey, and now they've accomplished what they want. They've silenced the opposing side of view on whatever the actual topic of discussion was.
You know why? Because the crowd that does bees and honey are not idiots. They're decent people.
True. And if you said, don't you ever think everyone should agree upon a way to respect the country that we live in? And they'd be like, yeah. There wouldn't be the people standing up to pee on the beehive because they don't like the way you feel about your country.
Yeah. It's just like bushcraft and the camping, backpacking, hiking, all those industries. It seems like there are a lot of decent-minded people in there, and it just seems like there's so many people connected to this community where I don't know. I was going to say the gun community, but I'm not going to go that far. But it's honestly, it's that person right there that you link to. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's it.
Well, I'll urge the people that are out listening or that give a shit to give Tony some encouragement, because obviously, if all he sees is that kind of crap, how can you counter that?
No, I see that it's like every single day, and I'm not crying or complaining. I'm saying that is...
Yeah, it's frustrating, and it sucks
the
that that's the state of the reality, yeah.
I mean, you guys, you and Jeff have, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, so you can't possibly read a lot of your comments, percentage-wise, but I read a lot of mine, and it's pervasive. It's an infestation. It's a disease.
No, I agree. I quit
I
reading
don't
comments
see it. I
because of
don't
it.
see it in real life. In real life, people are nice. I own a business. I'm happy. I have a family. There's a decent reality there. But when you come home and you're looking at the internet, there's a whole different reality there. And I can see why people that I always wondered why they quit, why they just gave up. I can almost understand it. I understand
or
why.
or why they stop answering comments on videos. I can understand that. Why, it's like this guy, that never replies to comments, and now they probably stopped reading it because there's so much negativity. But I
Yeah,
like to, I like using the judo approach to comment. I get it. Really, this is one of my little secrets, and there's always going to be some knucklehead that leaves a comment talking about how my fingernails look or something stupid, instead of focusing on what the video's about. And you just you reply to them, but use their energy against them, and just keep them. They'll keep coming back and commenting more and more. You just keep prodding them, and then pretty soon the people that support you will start attacking them like pit bulls. So I usually won't delete any comments like that.
there's David Desarty, the guy who I defended when people were calling him every name in the book, every name that you can think of, everything.
I can think.
They were calling him crazy. They were calling him not fit to carry a firearm. They were saying that he does not deserve to have a concealed carry license. I was the guy who was defending him, and look at the comments he just made. There's you know that it's a. I'm just telling you guys that it's there are some sick people.
Was he just trying to be funny, or was he trying to be mean? I thought he was just trying to be funny.
I don't know. I don't know why. It didn't appear to me that he was. But you see, you have to. You almost have to just be real in your comments. It's difficult to be like on the edge and expect people. There's so much negativity on the internet that if you're not just very clear about what you're saying, that it's easy to interpret it.
I know we're getting kind of off track on the internet stuff, but I mean, there's negativity everywhere. We have to figure. Well, we are figuring out how to deal with it. Obviously in 2006 there was a really big internet, and none of us even thought about dealing with this kind of garbage in the comments on a live chat. So in 2 years it'll be on to the next thing, and they won't either be anonymous anymore, or we just won't have this free service to do this on anymore. Something will be different.
That if you're not just yeah.
You broke up there. What?
I was trying to mute the YouTube side. Sorry. Jeff, are you back with us?
Yeah, I never left.
Oh, I guess it was me. Okay, well I'll be quiet, and you all can speak positively then, because my whole chat was about what's wrong with America. That's what I was talking about.
Well, I like to think that the flag is a symbol of it in more ways than one, because it seems like when I was a kid, when we were all kids, I guess we were all pretty old. I think they taught us stuff in school. I know that in Cub Scouts, you start learning basic stuff like, you salute the flag during the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever the stuff was, and you had respect for it because it represented all the history of everybody that's come before us, kind of thing. And then we had pride in the country because it was a country that's unlike others, with the melting pot and the Constitution and all that kind of good stuff. So I always thought of it as a symbol not only of the country, but of the countries, the people who make up the country's attitude at the time, or their patriotism, for lack of a better word, I guess. So I just noticed that over the years, it's become less and less important for people And I know that this isn't the only time in history when it's been like that. If you go back and just, it's one of those things I notice. Like I say, it's one of my pet peeves. I'll see the flag and I'll just my brain just automatically looks and says, oh, that complies with the flag code, or that doesn't, or whatever. I just notice that. So when it's backwards or upside down or something weird, I just notice that. So when I look at an old black and white picture from Lincoln or something, before 1929 when they invented the flag code, there was all this stuff that people did with the flag, and that kind of went through fads. At some point, people didn't use the flag, and then there were times people used it a lot. And anyhow, all I'm saying is I think that it's a good symbol of, how people give a damn or not. And I think that, when you get to times like the 50s, when it was almost propaganda times, it seems like, it would have been unheard of, I think, for someone to do something crazy with a flag. But then you get up to when I was in high school, and we had the people burning the flags, as a First Amendment issue. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know where it's come from then. It's hard to say. With all the 9/11 stuff, there was, some patriotism, and, people turn into the flag to show that patriotism, but at the same time, they didn't pay attention enough, or maybe they were never taught that there's a flag code, so, they were buying the disposable flags and printing out flags on their computer and putting it in their window and, on a piece of paper. And those little things are the kind of things where, again, it's like an indicator of how people are aware of what am I trying to say, like how to be a patriot or how to correctly do it. So it's sort of like table manners or something. You either give a damn about table manners or you don't. There's no law that says you have to have table manners. But if you go into a restaurant on one place and you go to another restaurant and it's different table manners in both places, it just gives a different feel to the restaurant. It's like a different feel to the country when you look at things like the 50s, the 60s with, the opposite from the 50s, and then you get the 70s, and then you get the 80s and the 90s and stuff. So it's just kind of interesting to me as a facet of, I don't know what I'm trying to say, like a way to, a glass to look through at the country as a whole is how they respect or treat or are aware of the flag. So now that I have this little YouTube thing to play on, I figure once in a while I'll make a note of it out there just to let people know. And I get mostly feedback that people are like, oh, I didn't even realize. Thanks. Now, I do care, and I didn't realize I was doing it that. So now I'll do it a different way or whatever. Mostly that's when I tell people, hey, you're not supposed to really throw a flag down on the table and just take pictures of a gun on it. I mean, that might seem cool, but there's a reason you never see that. And you never see that in magazines, because magazines, as they were going through the proofing or all the editors and stuff, somebody along the line probably said, hey, that's totally disrespectful for the flag, and then they redid the photo shoot. Very rarely until recently do you see anything where they, nobody was aware through all the different layers of, production that, something was a violation. You hardly ever see a flag backwards in a movie. But now that we can just make movies, if somebody doesn't know there's a proper way to hang a flag or not, or they're intentionally hanging it the wrong way, to prove a point or whatever, then that immediately goes out. And now you start seeing the flag in all different kind of, hung all different kind of ways. You start thinking, oh, well, there's no real way to hang the flag. As long as it's hanging on the wall, it's hanging on the wall. Does that make sense? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the whole flag thing kind of reminded me of what I thought was the root of the problem. That was this just disrespect. No, no, no patriotism, no real feeling, no real. I hate to use the word feeling, but no real loyalty to country. It's almost like there's a bunch of people occupying. The whole occupy mentality sort of translates into people who are here, but they act as if they would rather be somewhere else. But if they were transplanted immediately, through some sort of, device,
they'd never be happy, probably, yeah.
They would understand that, oh, by the way, oh yeah, I am living in the greatest country in the world,
So then, is that division or is that breakdown intentional or a result of apathy? I suspect somebody in the Donkey's saying in the chat, so patriotism to the left is he says, once again, the left is redefining patriotism. Now they teach that patriotism is remaking the country instead of rebuilding the country. So for them, patriotism is tearing down instead of reinforcing. And I mean, I can't disagree with that. I mean, you definitely see that, there's whole infrastructures that, whatever you want to call it, the anti-freedom side, I'm going to call it, doesn't like, and they'd love to tear all that down. And we live in a country where you can. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Is that we have movable office partitions here. If we don't like the way it's set up, we redesign the office and run it that way. But
but we don't. When we redesign, we don't tear down. We make the existing building better. I mean, if you get to a point to where the building is antiquated and it's not salvageable, yeah, you might tear it down, but we're not anywhere near that point.
Well, that's the thing, and that's why I don't understand. That's why it's frustrating for me. Otherwise, I honestly wouldn't care. I mean, if there's a bunch of people that hate America, there's probably billions of people that hate America for all I know, and I don't lose any sleep over it. However, when they're next-door neighbors of ours and they hate it to the point where they're going to talk crap just because we talk about, hey, there's a way to fold the flag if you're aware, just in case you care, you don't want to get muddled over it, just FYI. If they're going to use that kind of, just mention on a line to take an opportunity to throw shit around, then that's weird. Like, how'd they get from just not agreeing to rip it all down? There's nothing salvageable. It needs to end, and really angry about it. So it seems like some of them get really pissed about it. I mean, what else is there that you rip down because it's no good? Like, oh, that's worthless. Rip it down, start from zero. Like, I don't know.
Most of these people who speak this way don't actually invest anything in America. They don't, or much at all. They don't know how to create anything. They don't know how to, you know what I mean? They're mainly just sort of they're almost part of some sort of fungus on, it's like that little fungus that comes up on you every now and then. You just have to try to get rid of it somehow. I mean,
it's just like the people who have the worst attitude and the worst comments that they, if you look at their channel, they never have any videos. They don't know what it's like to have some jackass come in there and nitpick and call you names and call you, or whatever.
True, but they don't even care. They don't feel like you need to be on equal status in order to bring down others. They don't feel like you need to have accomplished anything to understand or empathize.
Yep.
Which is true. I mean, you don't need to know. You don't need to be an engineer to wing a rock at a greenhouse and watch the whole thing fall down. And if that's your entertainment, watching glass break and watching people have to rebuild, it's like people that step on anthills. I mean, you don't need to be a ecologist to step on anthills and enjoy watching pain and suffering that you inflict. But it's up to us to figure out, like, say, to do stuff like this, which is sort of like therapy probably, to just realize that these are not everybody, right? And I'm not going to give up on the communication platform here that we've got that saved us in 2013, in my opinion, or at least went a long way towards saving us, horrible legislation in 2013. I'm not going to let that fail because of a couple of people are using the anonymity to be a nuisance or be obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I'm just saying, it's sometimes you weigh things out. You're like, should I do a video or do I do a live hangout and have to listen to this crap, or do I do something more productive?
Well, I hear you, definitely. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get you in a chat too, because it's been a while since we talked. Because you've obviously been deciding the other way, which kind of sucks because it's good talking to you. You throw a good perspective out there.
Well, I miss talking to you guys too. Jeff, you all, you guys made the hangouts fun, and I, for the most part, ignored the Occupy mentality on the YouTube side, and I would just enjoy the chat, the exchange of philosophy that we had, with like-minded people. That kind of kept me going through all those times, and I guess ignoring part of it was probably the best policy. Probably still is, but it's I don't know. It's hard to explain, really. But I know it's funny because on the side of there is a pleasant side of YouTube and that I own, and it's my construction side. I almost even hate to even mention it now because I don't want the disease to spread. But but
Electronic.
it's like that side is a great asset to me. I just got a new project based on someone watching my videos there of our current project. So that business side of it works, and that is the side that I wish I could share with people. I wish the idiots who have their minds clogged with non-reality, like the Occupy types, who don't, to me, what their reality is not really part of the actual real life reality. In other words, the stuff that we see every day, that we live life outside of the internet. They don't actually experience it. Like, they don't experience what our country has to offer, like I
And
do.
if they do and they have a valid point, then they suck at expressing it, because just throwing hate around isn't going to make anybody listen to your side of the conversation, right?
Yeah, but I mean, me personally, I wake up and I take advantage of everything this country has to offer every day. Capitalism, free markets, dealing with people who are honest and who speak to each other like adults. And there's just sort of a whole culture out there that is not sick in the mind, that is pleasant to be around. And it's exciting and fun, and I don't know how to actually explain it, but I wish those people could experience it, because they'll spend their whole lives in this sort of non-reality when there is this actual reality out there that is our country, that is a land of opportunity, and they'll never see it because they're too mind lazy to get out there and try to experience it, because they're letting their non-reality control their lives when the actual reality is out there, and they just won't go get it. They won't try to absorb it, And the reality is that our country there are endless opportunities available to you here in this country. Whether, no matter what Obama tries to do, or no matter what the current administration is, whoever it is, no matter how much they try to bring you down, there is a way to work around them and be successful. There is a way to kind of to beat them. It takes a little work, but
of course, yeah.
And the opportunity is there.
But there are a couple of comments that have come in. Robbie says, look at how the different age groups' perception of the past holiday differs. Some of us see it as a day off, a day for barbecue or whatever, while other people see it still as the independence. Because, obviously that's always going to be the case. But look at any holiday, same thing. I mean, a lot of times they are just days off, especially for people that, I don't know, what if you work 7 days a week or whatever, and that's your one day off? I mean, it is your day off, but we don't live in, what am I trying to say? It's not like a communist country or something where, the state declares this is the day and everybody has to do, a prescribed thing. We're free to not participate. But like I say, it's sort of lame when people have to yell and scream about how horrible it is on the actual day that everybody else is trying to celebrate, I guess.
Here's another wacko comment. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who does the Pledge of Allegiance its origins, it's from a socialist, and the original salute was fascist. Many not agree with me on this, but I don't pledge myself to a banner of piece of cloth. I pledge myself to the republic. Well, what republic are you speaking of? The republic that actually uses the flag as its banner? You see this?
Banana Republic.
Yeah, the Banana Republic. that that's your. I can't. Let's see. Let's go take a visit to this person's YouTube channel. Let's see if we can get an idea of how old they are. Let's see. I guarantee you they're below. They're probably 20 or less in age.
Or in maturity, they could be 30 years old, but have a
Yeah.
40-year-old
mentality. That's the typical. I pledge myself to the republic. What republic?
For which?
Okay. Sorry. I could just. They'll pop up all night. I guess I should stop watching the comments.
Well, and I'll say that, you know, I like the concept of having a pledge, and I didn't mind saying it every day, you know, before school or whatever. It gave you a routine or tradition or whatever. But at the same time, there was conscientious objectors or whatever the term would be. You know, at some point, kids get to the point where they're like, wait a minute, I question this. And again, we don't live in some country where we have to say it, or else the leader, you know, is upset. And if you want to not say the pledge, that's awesome. And if you've got a reason for it, then that's excellent, I think. But I don't think you need to tear down the tradition in order to state your objection to it. Does that make sense? I think we can have both, and that's the part of the country that I cherish. And it seems like some people aren't. Maybe they don't realize that you can have both. That you can honor tradition without, you know, necessarily respecting every aspect of it.
See, to me, this is your typical comment where they speak of some sort of fascism, but then at the same time they don't understand that they're talking about the same republic that they just said they pledged themselves to. You know, what does that even mean? What does that comment even mean? How do you even read it and make sense of it?
I don't know, man.
You know, now, are people that illiterate that they can't just please take 2 seconds and read their own statements and try to make sense of them? My God, you know.
Well, you're an idiot if you don't understand.
Makes me want to puke, you know, sometimes. You know.
Let's see how long it takes him before he starts just F-bombing the hell out of us.
Well, you know, it's just the endless, senseless nonsense. You know, and it's almost like, to me, how do you even make this stuff up? How do you dream it? Where do you find it? Where do you cut and paste this crap? You know? I don't know. See, G-Webs, you should have never suggested I do a hangout tonight, because, you know, what kind of mood I'm in.
Well, I don't know. I'm not disappointed, because I mean, I understand, but at the same time, we're real, so we're not going to be happy all the time. We're not going to love everything about every aspect of our channel or our interactions with people, I suppose, but
yeah,
I'm glad to see you did one, though.
What's that?
I'm glad to see you did a chat, though, because I know Jaeger's doing his, but his ended. I mean, his was a great one, but it's, you know, it's Jaeger's thing. He does his thing, and obviously the people that are watching that are interested in different kind of stuff than what we're BSing about here.
Well, he won't get into any kind of deep philosophy unless it's, you know.
Well, I don't know about that. I bet you if we would have asked him something about the pledge and all that, he would have definitely given us his 2 cents on it.
I think he would, yeah. I think he would.
But he's just getting his start on that kind of live thing. Hopefully he'll keep doing that. And again, I mean, talk about keeping pipes open. That's going to be a big one. He had 300 something, more than 300 people, almost 350 people listening tonight live.
Yeah, and I guess if I had that many people, I wouldn't rant so much. I guess I don't know.
Well, to James, he'll rant. He doesn't mind. Ken's asking us, do you think that there is a coming real clash in the country between the sheep and the sheepdogs? I personally don't. I mean, sheepdog to me, I mean, everybody's got their own definition of something like that, but the sheepdog's job is to be aware of the sheep and be the good guy, right? So maybe the sheepdogs and the wolves, or the sheep and the wolves, but I don't see us as having a conflict with the people that, I mean, I don't think, I mean, in this analogy or whatever, the sheep would be our families and our people that we care about, right? I mean, I don't, maybe he's saying sheep like all the oblivious people that we're not necessarily emotionally or attached to.
Yeah.
But I still don't consider the people that don't care about firearms my adversaries. The only people I think are my true adversaries as far as the gun front, which is my kind of focus, would be the big dollar people like Bloomberg and the big power people like the elected, well, I'm by my quote signs, representatives that are blindly opposed to our freedom. The people in between, I think of them as innocent victims being duped by the media or whoever that gives them the BS kind of, I don't want to say information because it's not information, but the propaganda type of stuff on gun, at least as far as guns and stuff. But I don't see a conflict coming between people that are.
There's not going to be any conflict. Conflict requires passion, enough passion to get out of your basement. You know, there's not enough passion in this country for anybody. There's a few people, who would. What conflict? Who's going to clash against who? I love this whole thing where this whole zombie thing, whatever that means. Who are the zombie? Who's gonna get off their ass and go down to their bunker and get their AK and 10,000 rounds of ammo and go out and join a crowd of people? There's not going to be a clash. This country will come to a slow, depressing stop. It'll decay just like all other societies have done. It'll happen. There won't be there's not going to be a little flag that raises a red flag for everyone and says, okay, it's time to do something. It's just not going to happen that way.
Well, from my opposing viewpoint, I don't think it'll. It's possible that it could end like a lot of other big things of, I don't want to call us an empire, so we're not an empire, we're just an entity. So we could end like a lot of entities. However, what's stopping us from being the unprecedented first one that stands the test of time? And when we're in the future, Star Trek days or Battlestar Galactica days or Star Wars days or whatever it turns into, we're not still, the United States of that planet they used to call Earth or whatever. So, I mean, I acknowledge that it can happen and it has happened in the past, but we're not doomed to repeat just simply because things have happened before.
That's true, but I was just I was just imagining it happening that way because
no, but you're right. I mean, it's not like it's going to be like a big whistle going off, and then it's like everyone who is such and such against everyone is such and such. Go.
Yeah. Turn off cable channel 409 or 506 and come out to the street and bring your pump-up pellet rifle when you come and your smoke grenades and I don't know. It's funny.
So we've got it, and I don't know. I'm hoping we can go a little freestyle on the topics, but we haven't talked in a bit. So I've noticed that, and I haven't been paying a lot of attention. I'm no scholar on this, but I've noticed just in paying attention to the radio and stuff recently that I've heard the numbers thrown around that we're like down to 20% dependence on foreign fuels like oil or whatever because of all this stuff that's happening in North Dakota and whatnot. And if that's true, then what's stopping us from becoming less? So we've got it, and I don't know. Becoming basically energy independent, which I think is a big goal, a big step towards being. I don't want to say being isolationist, but at least not having to worry about so much about every little thing that's happening in the crazy parts of the world where we've in the past needed their oil. So if that's the case, then I think that we've got a real potential with the whole drone thing. I know that a lot of people look at drones the negative way, but when I look at the stuff like the planes that can go up for months at a time, that go at high altitudes and can basically replace satellites for us, I can see high-speed internet everywhere. I can see sat phones and GPSs so that we can do business out in the crazy places that we could barely get to before, and I can see all kinds of small, I want to call them artisan types of businesses, if you don't mind me taking the word from you, and with the concept of a smaller farm as opposed to the big industry food, and the smaller beds and breakfasts as opposed to the giant hotels, and the smaller restaurants as opposed to the chains, and then people getting into traveling again, and that'll bring people in from other countries to experience the diversity that the melting pot of the United States has to offer, and that could turn us around so that instead of being necessarily a consumer-driven entity on the planet, we can become more of a partner on the planet with sharing our culture, and obviously we've been sharing our technology and our our optimism towards the future with the world, and I don't see this being a doom and gloom thing, and I can see plenty of opportunities for new booms like the internet boom was, and new technological booms that'll make other people less dependent on hand-to-mouth type of eating, and that'll lead the whole world to get away from the strife that happens when people are worried about how they're going to get their next meal and that kind of stuff that we can spend our time to getting rid of, as opposed to wasting our time worrying about where we're going to get oil and stuff. So I know the big companies are out there winning right now, and we get a lot of doom and gloom from the people that hate big companies or rich people and all that, but I don't see it as a train track that we're on a course for a horrible end just because right now we happen to have a bunch of big companies that are doing jerk things sometimes.
Well, I mean, the reality is that those big companies are, the companies that are stable are the only thing that are keeping our economy alive. I mean, that's just the truth of it. If the small
but
businesses.
That's not the way it's always been. It's not the way it has to be either. So we're not doomed to it, is all I'm saying. I agree that obviously that's the way it is now, but we come out of a Cold War. We come out of an military-industrial complex. That stuff takes a minute or two to take apart or to ease out of, or whatever we want to, we haven't even decided what we're in, let alone decide on what direction we want to leave from. And hopefully we'll start working together and figuring that kind of stuff out so we do that.
I think we have to get government under control before we can kind of go back to the small company mentality, because right now there's so many companies. I mean, it's like the latest employment statistics where they were bragging about what 500,000 or 600,000 jobs created. Well, they were all part-time, and that's the direct result of Obamacare. I don't really mean to get way too off the subject, but the point is that companies are having to evolve or change based on all the current policies, as far as what's being required of them. So I mean, like companies like mine, we want to fly under the radar right now because we feel like that we're being less affected by government regulation. So I don't know how that even tied into your comment, but it felt like it did.
I don't think anybody's going to watch or listen to a Tony's chat without knowing we're going to talk a little bit about politics and news.
Well, I mean, as far as, I wish we didn't. I wish we didn't have to talk about it so much.
Don't. When we were talking about tools and stuff, we hardly ever got into politics, right?
Yeah, but I wish, honestly, why do we? That's a good question. Why do we have to get up every day worrying about our government? Wasn't supposed to be that way. We weren't supposed to have to get up every day and worry about what they were going to do next. They were supposed to defend our country and deliver the mail and, whatever else. But it's gotten to be such a big thing that now it's a part of our everyday lives, and it shouldn't be that way. I wish politics weren't so pervasive. So,
just looking at the comments there, and it looks like the 50 TNC who you were talking about with his Republic comment is putting out the olive branch. I think you must have understood him maybe because he's saying, hey, if you don't understand, we can meet up and I can explain it. But it sounds like he's, I think what he was basically saying is, the whole blindly following dear leader concept of the socialist aspect of the pledge compared to just a personal, and I'm speaking for him obviously, but like a personal relationship with the concept of the country or the republic or whatever he wants to say.
I just wish I could see those comments.
Oh, they just came in. I refreshed.
Okay.
Challenge you to a duel.
A duel.
Yeah. Stick his dad on your dad.
I refreshed and most of my comments went away. Jesus.
Yeah, it's kind of screwy still. I noticed that James had his showing up for his chat over on the side like they used. Well, they were for a while at least. So
yeah.
Maybe they're screwing with the comments again, try to make it better.
I saw that. I wondered what happened. How do they decide who gets the side comments, or maybe.
Have you Tacta Girl Lola?
Yeah.
She showed me one time, or she walked me through it, and it's something when you get in, you start the live chat, and then you go in, and you look at it, you edit it, and somewhere in there, I think she said you flip it from quick to, I don't know, something else. So I haven't achieved it myself, but she did walk me through it. I think it's something that you can manipulate in there once it's posted. Like you could go in there now and screw with it, I think. Or maybe it's before you go live, I forget. Not easy though. I wish I could tell you exactly what to click. It was something in there. It was like said she was in there toggling stuff and figured it out.
That's why she's Tactical Girl Ola or Lola.
Tactical Girl Lola. Yeah.
What's it called? What's she called?
Like it's a play on tactical, so Tacti Girl.
Right.
And
I was on one of her.
Lola.
She had me on one of her hangouts one night. I thought it was very fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
She did a good job.
We've all been on there, haven't we? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, she's had some pretty big channels on there too, and I mean, I don't care what size channel she is. I mean, it's she's doing a good thing, and it's
inspirational. Exactly. She's not has any illusions that she needs to be as big as somebody in order to invite somebody. She just invites people, and they join, and it's awesome.
She had James Yeager on there. I think she asked. I'm not even supposed to say this, but she asked. Never mind. I don't want.
I actually sent her a link tonight.
But she works on every day, and she just got a new job, so I don't know what her schedule is. But she used to work where Saturday, I think, or Sunday was her only night where she could actually do stuff. So I think, but she mentioned something on Facebook, got a new job. So. But that's the stuff to keep in mind. People like that are out there kicking butt and taking advantage of this thing in a good way, right?
Right.
I'm gonna have to go pretty soon. I gotta eat dinner and get ready for work.
I was thinking the same thing about eating, but I know Stone Guy's gonna be posting a chat tonight too, so at some point he'll be starting.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys showing up. Because I was like, I saw your comment, and I was like, okay, I'll start one. And nobody came. I was like, that's typical freaking lately, Well,
I made that comment, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to make a quick video, because that one video was sort of on a downer, so I'll make a positive video, right? And then I guess while I was doing that, you had started this one. And then as soon as I got done doing that, I saw that James had started that chat in my sub box, so I went over and looked at that.
Yeah.
And then I looked back, and you had sent me a link, and I was sitting in your link waiting for him. Yeah, it was a whole big back and forth mismatch. But, yeah, hopefully you'll start doing them. I don't care how many people are doing them on Mondays. The best thing about this YouTube thing is, yeah, you might not get a massive live audience, but then they're there. And now people can go check them out again.
Honestly, I don't really care. I mean, I kind of don't care how many people watch while we're doing it.
No, it's like being able to keep up and keep in touch.
Yeah. So y'all need to travel out here in October to go to Eric's shoot on the 18th. I'm going.
Very cool.
Or y'all should just come on out.
I only got my AC fixed, so that's one less thing to worry about in the car.
Just pretending like he's not hearing me because he didn't want to answer. He didn't want to tell me no, he's not coming.
Oh, I hate traveling 50 miles.
You're like me. Like, why go anywhere?
I know, I know.
Why waste gas? My wife has talked me in for the last 10 years of going to the beach, and it's like 6 hour drive. Like this year I was like, let's go someplace in the mountains because I knew it would be at least only like 2 hours away.
Mountain, I love the mountains.
I was successful. We're going someplace new this year, so it's only for 2 nights. That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
I hate being gone for a week.
Yeah.
Like going to another planet or something.
And then you're all stressed out trying to catch up on everything when you get back, you know?
Yeah, people are calling me anyway. Hey, I got to pour concrete tomorrow. Okay. I'm not there, but go ahead. I reckon. So that stresses me out, knowing people are doing stuff on my projects while I'm not there. So they think I'm kidding when I say I'm going out of town because they know I don't like it.
No, you're not wanting to take vacations, right?
Yeah, I don't like them.
Well, take a tip from Dear Leader and acknowledge that you didn't build that.
Yeah, I know. I was just some kind of weird facilitator, or I don't know. What would be a good word?
All right, man. Well, we'll definitely keep posting over on Gun Channels, and right now there's a bunch of people watching. They're all giving you pats on the back, encouragement, and whatnot. So hopefully we'll see more live chats on Monday.
Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you, Steve Webbs and Jeff, for stopping by. I appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks very much.
All right.
See you guys.
All right, bye.